Weather modification started before we even had flight. Okay, they were using balloons. Then you realize that during Vietnam, they flooded the Ho Chi Minh Trail. They were using weather as a weapon. And then, it was like the Al Gore days and the tree hugging days. Everyone was talking about, we're heating the planet. So they needed a resolution. So they already knew the technology for cloud seeding, which cloud seeding is done so much. It is done totally open admitted, so that when you actually talk about, I don't like the term chemtrails because it's been co-opted, but when you talk about SAI, stratospheric aerosol injection, geoengineering is just a word that covers multiple programs. So the cloud seeding is what makes moisture build up inside of the cloud. So it's actually hijacking a weather system, and it's taking rain meant for one area to dispersing it to another. Well, you're messing with Mother Nature, kind of like, I always say, like time travel. Don't mess with the ripple,
You're a hero to me, man. I don't know if are we recording? When I met you already, by the way. We were drinking at Rescue the Republic. And when I met you and realized who you were, I was like, oh my God, she's a fucking hero. I know this lady.
Because what's funny is, when you see somebody that you're just not expecting to see where you're at. So for me, it wasn't like, oh, like I know who you are, but it's that you were there because I didn't know you were like on the freedom side. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't even know. You know something? I don't even know if I know. Did you even know who I was? I don't even know. Yeah. Sometimes people don't always watch some of the shows that I've been watched on, so I don't know.
Every single show you've ever been in. Yeah. So, I mean, I knew who you were, but like, it was just funny because my brain was like, what is she doing here? Like Rob Schneider being there. It's like, I didn't expect him to.
Right, we know that already. Oh, you didn't expect him to be there?
Well, I mean, I'd seen some videos, but I was like, even like Colonel Doug McGregor was there. I didn't know he'd be there. So.
Oh, yeah. I would have thought that he, you know who my most exciting person was that was there? And he came over to me and said to me, I love your hat or something. And usually people will know like, oh my God, Sopranos. But he was absolutely oblivious. He was just like, I like your hat. I was like, I'm fucking obsessed with you. And it was Mike Benz. And he was like, that's weird that you're obsessed with me.
Oh
but
my
okay,
gosh, that's so funny. I just saw him recently. We were both at our friend's wedding. And we were just shooting the shit at the bar. It's funny though.
I actually haven't paid attention to him lately. I've been so off of all of the politics since then. I don't really even know what's happening. And part of that is because I made a pact with myself that if the skies automatically cleared up, then I believe in the fact that I went out on a limb and started speaking out and, totally destroyed my so-called reputation in my life. But if the sky clears, then that's symbolic of everything was not done in vain and the skies have not cleared. So here we are back at square one. And I think, I think a lot of people have woken up, but I think a lot of people are still... It's so crazy. I mean, the people that are awake, now we're dividing those pieces of the pie into more antagonizing groups against each other. So now all the Republicans hate each other, the conservatives hate each other, the Democrats, I don't know what the hell they're doing except for hating the conservatives. But the one thing that, I mean, all of these issues that have been so life-threatening, like the vaccine or, anything that has to do with government, I guess. So I guess that's why it is politicized, because all of these things have become politicized. I mean, your vaccines are coming from the government. Your weather modification is coming from the government. So how do we not politicize it, I guess? But at the same time, I feel like, sure, for it to be politicized up here with the government and all these people is understandable. But for us, just these people, just us being, the ants they're fumigating on this planet. How do we get politicized on this shit? And you talk about it a lot in Climate Trails, which is the reason why I started talking about that. Well, it's not because of Climate Trails, but the reason why I wanted to talk to all you guys from the film. First of all, I want everybody to see Climate Trails because it is the easiest way to introduce people who have absolutely no idea what it is, or absolutely every sort of everything in their body tells them that if we ever mention the word chemtrails, that we are talking about conspiracy theories and not an actual conspiracy, which is what I believe it is, especially now that there's so much information out there that people can't look at you and say you're fucking crazy anymore. And you've been talking about this for so long. I mean, for so long, and now it's finally becoming normalized. Like when I saw that the film had an Amazon thing on it, I thought, oh, this is fucking controlled op. So what happened to Kristen Meghan? I was like, how the fuck did they get her to be in this film if this is some controlled op? Like, did they put the fucking, the hammer down on her? And I was like, wow, so I need to watch this. So I watched it. And now I know from the producers that it's still, I don't know, will it be on Amazon? Is it on Amazon? Will they shadow ban it the way they shadow banned Dr. Kaufman's film that he was telling me about, who's in the film with you? But your story, for anybody who is still saying, it's fucking crazy, it's not true, and blah, 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 they just want proof. People, even though they get the proof, and they do, there's tons of it, it's all out there. Maybe my audience will be a little bit different of an audience. I know that in our group of people, we're all talking the same language, but I'm really hoping that some people who don't speak our language will hear this once we start putting these out. So I just first want you to go ahead and tell everybody who you are and where you come from and why you're doing this. And I hope I don't start to cry like I've done when I've heard you talk about it before. It really bothers me. Anyway,
Yeah, well,
go,
it really
because you're
bothered
one of
me.
my heroes. Okay.
Yeah, so I always tell people, well, first of all, this issue is now openly admitted, but I had first heard about modifying the weather. I think it was around 2006. It was actually, I was in the Air Force for 9 years, first of all. I worked in bioenvironmental engineering. And I came home on leave, and a family member had me watch this documentary. It was by Alex Jones, of all people. And I thought, this is insane. Like, if we were actually modifying the weather, it wouldn't make any sense, because part of my government job is to anticipate, recognize, evaluate, and control a whole wide array of health hazards. And I thought, these are the same, what they were claiming was in chemtrails, which is really stratospheric aerosol injection. The toxicants is what it's called that is being used are the very same things I have to engineer out of a workplace, meaning I need to make these hazards pulled away from the breathing zone, make it a safer environment for people that are working around it or removing items that contain that same toxicant. So I thought to myself, I'm going to do? I'm going to be the person that debunks this. Like, that's the name I was going to make for myself. And in trying to debunk it, I started to realize during an 18-month period, not only was it real, but the approvals were going right through my office. And I was one of the people. Because what happens is there's 3 Air Force depot maintenance bases. And if you think about it, this aircraft has to be taken down to the last screw like every 10 to 15 years. It's called a depot maintenance base. Very boring.
No, I like this stuff. I want to hear this stuff.
I was so lucky that after I came from being overseas stationed at a fighter wing, I came to 2 depot maintenance bases. It's rare to be at both. And at both places, I was one of a handful of people that sat and approved chemicals, meaning when you are in the Air Force and you are having a shop order a paint, we have to figure out, well, what are they painting? And is this paint carcinogenic? Can it cause cancer? And then what are the users that are the employees? Are they wearing respirators? So think of like a cradle to grave concept of chemical tracking and its disposal. So I'm approving all of the chemical procurements on the base. And then, you know how you can't find, is that term you can't find what you're not looking for? Like, I never thought before this, I just knew that there was a classified area where they were retrofitting aircraft, and the dots weren't dotting. And I went, what? They had these things they used to be called material safety data sheets. Now they're just called safety data sheets, SDSs. And there's certain information that has to be on those forms for you to approve them. Well, when I say they were half-assed, they were quite half-assed, and it was a red flag. And I went, oh my gosh, like, this is it. This is like I remember the actual feeling of sitting at my desk the first time this happened. I was living in Oklahoma City, and my whole face went numb, and I just went to myself like, okay, not only is this happening, so I know goes against all the ethics of my profession, but now what do I do about this information? So I continued to just tell myself, maybe it's only happening here. So I started doing background soil sampling. I rented my own equipment. I lived right by a flight line. Long story short, in Oklahoma City, I realized it was being done there. Then they sent me to Warner Robins Air Force Base in Georgia. Same type of base. Same thing. Selected to do that. It's called an Air Force Form 3952, chemical acquisition and approval. Same thing. But this is over an 18-month period. And then finally, when I started, disproving them, because it needs to then go on to, like, say, environmental services or the fire department to sign off on this form, it was me being pulled into an office of someone way high above me, questioning my mental health. Mind you, I had just won an award for my amazing service. I was the non-commissioned officer of the quarter. And they had asked me why I looked so depressed. And at the time, I had just been divorced. I had a young daughter. And then the words were, I can put you on a mental hold for 120 days. I think you might need it. And who would watch your daughter? And I immediately knew that everything that I had suspected, that attempted to debunk, was real. And just happened to be about 8 weeks from that date, I was supposed to re-enlist. And I didn't. And I walked out with no plan, no job, no health insurance. And I immediately got an attorney. And 16 years later, you have states banning it. So yeah, it's very real and openly admitted. There's been so much testing done, people coming forward. There's other people that I know that have come forward that aren't public. So it's a very real thing. And if you had asked me 10 years ago if I would listen to people talking about it in Senate or congressional committees, I would have told you you're insane.
Yeah, I saw you. So funny. I saw that episode on. I never even knew Joe Rogan had a show. I just went to look you up yesterday, just real quick, just to get some like new stuff. And the only thing that showed up was that, because you can't find a lot of us now. Well, me, it's different because they can't help it with fucking Sopranos and all that stuff. But when I try to find a lot of you guys, sometimes it takes me a minute because I'm shadow banned on Instagram, but like a lot of stuff's not coming up. So the Joe Rogan thing came up first. And that episode
I would say that was
my
that was my pre-Invisalign days.
oh, I have Invisalign too.
Yeah, well, I just remembered. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize he had a TV show. It was called Joe Rogan Questions Everything. And that was an interesting time because at that time, Joe, he didn't believe it, but he didn't think I was lying. He had told me, and we maintained, an acquaintance throughout the years. And he would just say, I believe that you saw what you saw. I just think maybe you're confused on what it was for. And how he handled disagreeing with me was so graceful. And that's because people wanted me to dislike him because he interviewed this guy on that same episode that had nothing, zero credentials. He just ran a website. So, which I've had people impersonate me on that website. That's for a different show. But yeah, I mean, he handled it really, really graceful. Yes. People have
Wait, which guy? Was it the Brooks?
His name was...
Who, wait?
No, it's like... his name is Mick West, but I call him Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh, okay. Yes. I remember. He was the guy who came and debunked the HARP The
Oh
guy
yeah.
trying to replicate I watched the whole thing because I couldn't believe the show. I was like, this is Joe Rogan. This is like really
Yeah.
performative he was
Yeah.
young. Everybody was young. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But
That had to have been like around 2013, maybe
I don't even know,
2012.
but it seemed like a lifetime ago. But it's funny to hear that conversation back then. I mean, I know the conversation's been going on for a while, but not like now. Because I think what's going on right now is since COVID, people, like anyone who had a bullshit meter, it's completely going off. And the people who are never going to have one, there's might be some hope for some and maybe not for others. I don't really know. I think when something personal happens to people, they change their outlook on certain things, or once they see something, they can't unsee it. And I do have, at the end of that episode, by the way, he did not, I think he did not think that there was much validity to it. But I don't know what his stance is on it now. Have you ever been on the show since then?
No, I
Have you ever
have
been on his
not. But
show?
no, I'm not on his like podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience. But ironically, one of his best friends, Eddie Bravo, is a huge truther in this realm, and there's just no way that they don't have dinner conversations about it. And Joe had his own awakening through, like you just said, what I call the scamdemic, which I don't know if you knew that about me too, but that fell right into my profession. And
Yeah,
I
of
traveled
course.
around the country, around the world, fighting the mandates on my
Yeah.
own dime. And that was, I can't believe I'm still doing interviews about masks. So, yeah, I agree with you, though. He
That's how
came
I got in
across
it
as,
too.
yeah, well, it did. It woke up a lot of people because there's a lot of other issues that people believe in that some don't, whether it's 9/11 truth or other things.
Yeah.
When you get past the barrier of my government would never do this to me or my government would never lie about this, and then you just look throughout history, and I'm like a huge rabbit hole root cause person, and sometimes I'm like, take me back to when I didn't know anything. But once you realize, even just with COVID, they completely demonized the conversations around this was a lab leak. And they told you it was a bat. And they just lied throughout the whole thing. They lied about masks work, they don't work. If you get this jab, yes, you won't spread it. It's like the lies just, it's like being in an abusive relationship. And that's how I felt, is that at some point, you have to remove yourself from the abusive relationship because that person has lost all trust and credibility. And that's what a lot of people had with our federal government and the science, through the government. So yeah, I think the only good thing that came from COVID is that more people woke up that, the government's not the answer and it's not here to help you. And that, I'm not saying it's all, everyone in it is horrible. I'm saying, yeah, they're going to lie to you and they always have an ulterior motive.
I feel like right now everything's just being rebranded. I don't even think that we're making that much headway. I mean, and we're accepting certain things that we thought might have been total shit just because, someone like me who would never vote in my lifetime, I voted first for Biden, then I voted for Trump. And I'm just like, this is exactly why I never voted, because I went from one extreme to another, just trying to find some common middle ground. And I realized that, and I think we all realize this, and I don't know that a lot of other people who are not directly involved with all this stuff like we are, but the answer is never going to be looking in that direction. And I don't even know how many moves they can even make they're just going to be social moves that give the appearance that things are evening out. And at some point, we're all going to have to make a change. And that is going to take all of us standing together and, saying no. I mean, we were just at Dell's movie premiere, Big Tree, An Inconvenient Study. And
That was
while
so
it might
good.
not be, yeah, it's great. And everybody should see it because everybody who is, anti-vaxxer, conspiracy theorist, tinfoil hat, it's none of that. Like, this is just people using data right now. These aren't ideas being spoken about. They're not theories anymore. They're conspiracies, but they're conspiracies against mankind. And I can't, and I know a lot of people don't care and don't want to know because we want to be like, fuck it. I want to just go back. Take me back to the 80s. Take me back to the early 90s, you know? But I mean, all this stuff's been going on forever. And then once you start understanding it, and then you start looking at history and you're like, holy fuck, I have been lied to since the day I was fucking born. And that is astounding. And I mean, I have little kids that are starting to see that just because of social media and the influx of messaging, which is being tailor made to get them to hate other people for sure. I mean, I watch it all day.
Mhm.
I'm like, even these big mouths that are even on our side of stuff, they're out there saying all kinds of incendiary shit. There's no real movement towards bringing people together. And topics like this, like with the climate, you either have leftists saying, you know, we have climate change, and you have the right people saying climate change is a hoax. And then you have someone like, and I was mentioning this because I was talking to the doctor before, Dr. Kaufman, you have Dane Wigington, who is like, you know, I joke around. Climate trails is for beginners, even though it goes there, it goes everywhere it needs to go. But it's for
Mhm.
people who still are just not believing any of it. And then once you're hooked and you're in and you want to go farther, then you go for the dimming with Dane Wigington at geoengineeringwatch.org because I mean, he's just devoted his whole life to trying to figure out how to save the trees, the soil, you know, all of it. Um, so I guess what people don't understand, I was trying to ask Dane these questions, and maybe you can answer some of them. I definitely got way too ahead of myself with the doctor as we got into even more crazy conversations. And you might not be able to answer this either, because I don't think this is the answer that I think this is part of the reason why it's hard to get people to understand it. Um, did it ever start? Do you think, and just because you've been in the space for a while, and again, we might not have the answers to these questions, so if you don't, fuck it. But do you think it ever started out to be something that was not noble, but you know, they don't want people to know. So why don't they want us to know? Is it because the planet, if you ask someone like Dane, the planet is going through an intense amount of pressure. Like we have destroyed the planet. We have been bad stewards. We have, you know, fucked with the ozone. We've polluted. I mean, we have wrecked the oceans, the forests. But you know, now where we stand at this point, the biggest problem, the biggest threat to the climate is the stratospheric aerosol injections. I would say that those are the biggest threats to the planet, even more so than coal, oil. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong because I'm not a fucking doctor or scientist or any of these things. But I do think right now, um, that they are trying to normalize the conversation and make people feel like this is necessary. And I think that's going to be the big push moving forward with all of us outspoken people about it. Um, Now that it's getting even more hyped up, which I think is not going to last, by the way, because I think that with the whole biometric thing and with this whole AI thing coming in and Palantir and all that, I think we're about to be censored in ways that we thought we were censored before. I think we're about to see a whole version of censorship that has never fucking existed. Um,
Yeah.
but so I don't even know how to get through to the people that are left, the people that believe in climate change. It's actually not the climate denier people. They a lot of them will say, "Oh yeah, I see that shit. They're just fucking poisoning us. They're fumigating us." Like they'll recognize it to a degree. I don't think they'll recognize that the planet is in trouble or that we're gonna fucking die from it because it's a slow death. Because all of those chemicals bombarding us is a very slow process. But how do we explain to people when they say, because this is going to be the debate, why are they doing it? Why do we need to spray this into the atmosphere? Is it doing something beneficial? Because we have no consent. We can say no to vaccines, and then we might have to go hide under a rock once we have our barcodes. But we can't control the air we're breathing, that's for sure, or the food that we're eating. If they even let us eat food once our barcodes go into effect, people are going to be like, Jesus Christ, Dre with the tinfoil hat. But it's true, and no one's fucking paying attention. So when I ask Dane those questions too, it's like, what is the fix for that? What would it be? Do you stop drilling for oil? Do you stop doing the coal, all of that sort of stuff? I mean, there's only so much we can do. And if they're going to tell us that they're spraying the fucking sky to correct the ozone from all of our creature comforts to mitigate that, that's a fucking lie. Like, I mean, they can just keep letting volcanic style smoke go into the atmosphere and hope that that's going to block the sun. But I mean, cloud seeding, I feel like, is not as catastrophic as what the long-term effects of I feel like cloud seeding is catastrophic in that it can create the most insane weather patterns really quickly. But then the aerosol injections, do the aerosol injections and the cloud seeding work together when they're trying to create a huge weather pattern? And why? So yeah, there's people don't believe that they're trying to grab land. And so, I mean, what would you, I just asked 80 questions at once, so I
That's
totally
okay.
confused
My
the shit out.
ADHD
Even maybe you'll
brain
remember
tracked them
one of the
all.
fucking things I said.
I remember them all. All right, so
I am not a podcaster.
Hey, that's
I'm
the
a
best
mom.
part. Normal conversations. So, first, understand that the weather modification idea and wanting to do it started before we even had flight. Okay, they were using balloons. Then you realize that during Vietnam, they flooded the Ho Chi Minh Trail. They were using weather as a weapon. And then, it was like the Al Gore days and the tree hugging days. Everyone was talking about, we're heating the planet. So they needed a resolution. So they already knew the technology for cloud seeding, which cloud seeding is done so much. It is done at an insane amount, totally open admitted, so that when you actually talk about, I don't like the term chemtrails because it's been co-opted, but when you talk about SAI, stratospheric aerosol injection, geoengineering is just a word that covers multiple programs. So the cloud seeding is what makes moisture build up inside of the cloud. So it's actually hijacking a weather system, and it's taking rain meant for one area to dispersing it to another. Well, you're messing with Mother Nature, kind of like I always say, like time travel. Don't mess with the ripple, Then when you start to have the whole, we have climate change, it's not even about finding a solution. It's about how much money people get by offering the solutions. I actually know somebody who acts like they believe in climate change just because they sell a product that can help capture carbon gases. So they're going to use these programs to help combat climate change. And no, you're not going to get anyone's consent, just like we never gave consent for them to fluoridate the water. But to fix this, yes, I'm so glad that states are banning it, but it absolutely has to be banned at the federal level. But then you have to kind of think we have oceans between us, but it always reminds me of what was it, like 80s or early 90s when we had the smoking sessions in restaurants, and we knew damn well that Uncle Joe smoking over there, it was going to still go to the non-smoking section.
Yeah, on the airplanes.
So it's the same thing. And while I'm not a fan of international organizations, I do think that there needs to be some sort of international agreement that people will stop this. And they focus on the gains. Well, these drought-ridden areas, water is a human right. We can, understandable. So let's create technology where we're bringing in those resources, not diverting the resources. Because you have to think there's certain crops and water tables. Think of it as being acclimatized to living in a certain climate. If you live in Alaska, going to Florida, and any time of the year, you're going to be it's so hot. So if you are like, you have to think of the soil being acclimatized. It's used to a certain amount of rain and it's used to a certain amount of sun and hardening of the snow. It's like I live in Michigan. If all of a sudden we never had winter, our whole ecosystem would change. So hopefully I'm answering your question, because you have to understand the history.
Oh, no,
and people will often ask me, well, the people that are doing this, they're doing it to themselves also because they have to breathe it in. But I'm trying to explain to these people that they're just completely, they're retarded. They're so dumb. These are the same people that do such dangerous things and don't question any science. And also, I knew that the tides were changing about, I want to say it was 8 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago. I started seeing headlines on Yahoo about they're proposing doing these very things. And that's like I said, if your partner tells you let's have an open relationship, trust me, they already are on their end. So if the government is saying, hey, we're going to do this, it's like, okay, we're gonna.
Yeah.
No, it's because they're trying to sell the idea of all the benefits, all dealing with, we need to make sure all the water levels are fine. And, this really rare duck in Montana or something stupid like that. Like, they justify the environmental impacts as a positive. Does that make sense? But it's all, all bull.
I mean,
none of it's real.
I mean, the fires, they're going to use what they perpetuated to show us that we need to have some sort of intervention. I was asking Dane if he had seen this Isaac Asimov, one of those things they do at that spot with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he had about 6 people on a panel, and I thought I couldn't stop watching because I was like, okay, I want to see where he's going to go with this, because he's not going to. He was so on the side of the people that were there against it. He literally brought like 7 people who were opposed to it and 1 pro. And I thought, how interesting. Why would you do this? Like, what is the play here? There's got to be some kind of psychological reason for this right now, because I know the conversation's starting like in a different way, in a less, it's starting to become like, my girlfriend even sent me a Politico article, and she goes, Drea, it's starting. And I read the article and I felt none the wiser. And I sent it to my doctor and I go, is it me, or am I like just not very smart? Because sometimes, I don't know if I don't really have, the most insane brain for picking apart things. And he was like, this article said absolutely fucking nothing. So in this Asimov thing, I was like, okay, I need to watch this through. It was like 2 hours of these people discussing why there should never be global engineering, weather engineering, but mostly I think they were talking mainly about is it stratospheric aerosol injection, which would be the climate
SAI.
Yes. So the things that cause the trails in the sky that people think are just flight patterns, and I'm like, oh, so nobody flew today? Everybody stayed home. No one flew today. That's what happened.
We're pretty blue during the shutdowns.
Oh yeah. We're in the middle of a crazy storm, by the way. And Ariana Masters wrote me last night, and she goes, just be careful. There's a lot, because I asked her, I wrote her because I knew I was going to be interviewing her today. And I was like, hey, do I need to worry about anything? Because I have all my Halloween decorations are outside. I was like, are they going to be flying into the ocean today? But she said that there were trails, that she was seeing tons of trails when she follows that radar. And I was like, shit, I thought we were not seeing anything. But in that panel, there was the one guy who said that he thinks that it's the right thing to do. They've been doing all this research. He was at Harvard, blah, 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 blah. But this was just a minute ago, like maybe a year or 2 ago, not even. And they're talking about it as if it had never happened. So the guy who's sitting there, the supporter, he's an Italian, my people, freaking savages. And he's saying that it would be a great thing for them to eventually try, but that it hasn't been approved yet. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how can you fucking say that when there is nothing? There are patents, there are airplanes outfitted with all of this technology. There is, I mean, the writing itself is in the sky. I mean, and we're
Mm-hmm.
still like, no, it's not happening. I really, it's absolutely mind bending to think that they would spend 2 hours on a panel having this conversation, and that's the controlled opposition that's going to go out there. And I think it's going to get freaking worse, but it may not get worse because we might just be completely silenced soon. And it'll be town hall meetings where we're talking about stuff. But then it's like, seriously, what do we do to stop it other than being at a state level, which is, I think, and I know all of you guys in the film had said that talking about it at a state level is super important because it gets the conversation started. But as far as it being done federally, even with the vaccines, like I'm just worried that, yeah, sure, Kennedy's in there, he's making moves, but how much are they going to rebrand the bullshit? It's like, are they really going to make moves, or are we going to rebrand it so that it still fits, the protocol for a lot of these demons? And another thing that you said about how these people in power are consuming all this stuff as well. Just now with Dr. Kaufman, he was saying that he actually worked with a chef that was cooking for some of these families, these people, these fucking people, and they were getting all their stuff sourced differently. Everything. The way their food is prepared, the way their vegetables are grown, and their meat is fed, their meat is fed, but their cows and chickens are fed. They're living the life that we're all chasing after and spending, thousands of dollars trying to mitigate the bullshit that falls out of the clouds, when we should just be consuming the sunlight and being healthy and being, God's children on earth, and trusting the earth, trusting our bodies. If we break a bone, then we go to the hospital. Then a doctor is the most amazing person on the planet if your heart's not working. But I mean, Jesus Christ, like our hearts are stopping because of a lot of, I'm gesturing towards my window right now. Anyway. Anyway, so people want proof. They want to know. Have you ever seen when they take apart one of these planes? Have you seen them in their states of being taken
There are
apart?
things that I have seen that are still listed as classified, and that is nothing I have like legal rights to speak on. But I can just tell you that, and I'm sure Dane told you, KC-135s and C-130s have been retrofitted to be able to handle the type of materials that have to do this. But I just want to go back to what you said. I don't know if you're aware, but Marjorie Taylor Greene has a bill in, I believe it's called the Clean Skies or Clear Skies Act. The problem is people that do things against the fray that are highly demonized. So I like her, and I like Representative Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey, I think I saw on X, you shared it. Yeah.
I couldn't believe
my favorite.
it. I know. Everybody loves him. And her too, man. I think when I was in my mind some psycho lefty, not that I ever even classified myself that way, but she was always like the face of like, oh my God, this lady. And now every time I hear her, I'm like, fucking go, girl, you go with that, because she's going against her entire world over there too, and just standing by herself.
A certain world.
I am so impressed with her. We need more like her. And people will think I'm absolutely insane for saying that on both sides, but I don't really give a fuck, because I'm not on either of their side anymore, because they're all fucking batshit crazy.
Well, the thing is that people like Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene actually pull in people from the middle, and they're not rhinos as they call them. They're just more like pro-liberty people. And if you're going to win, you have to run on either ticket. I think that actually, while a majority of people on the right like in DC, view them as not playing along. But when it comes to like midterms and things like that, like here in Michigan for the last election, I worked my ass off to get the libertarians and like the Ron Paul people, which is like me, to cross over to vote for Trump just because we were facing pure insanity. And I don't know if you know who Ross Ulbricht is. He's our friend in the Bitcoin movement. We wanted him out. He was serving 2 life sentences and Trump pardoned him. But the very people that they're attacking right now are the people we need to get past the goal line at the midterms. And I'm not like a Republican. I'm like, I just do you, boo. Just don't harm another person or their property. And my ideals just align more with the right. So I'm right there with you. I always felt like I was politically homeless until I found Ron Paul.
Yeah, I felt politically homeless too for definitely. And who cares about fucking the politics? I just felt like I was homeless, period, at this point.
Mine is, are you trying to violate my individual liberty or not? It's really simple.
Yeah. And for me, it was just about my medical freedom. I'm like, look, you want to fucking watch me all day on my phone. You want to surveil me. I don't really care, but just leave my fucking $10 that I have to my name alone, please. And let me just eat the way I want to eat and take the kind of medicines I want to take. Just don't get in my fucking way. But okay, back to the chemtrail shit just for a second here. So, I mean, I've seen pictures of the planes with all that stuff. Do you think a lot of those pictures do you think they're fake, or do you think that some of those pictures are actually real?
I think most of them are fake. And that's because about
Oh, really?
around 2014-ish is when I started seeing an influx. And you may have seen some of these things where it showed an on-off switch and they had the whole like actual patches that said like chemtrail something. That was purposeful. This is before AI. That was purposeful to be able to make fun of the people that were sharing it. And they'd say, oh, it's fake. Like they were trolling us. That's why I don't actually like the term chemtrails, because that's what they did. So I like how the producers of this film, like Sean Hibbler, called it climate trails. I kept actually conflating it, calling it climate trials, because these people should be on trial that are behind it. But yeah.
Okay, so HARP, you can't even bring it up to anybody, but people who don't know anything about it. I think the film does a really good job of just sort of breaking it down in the most, but you know, it's military. And I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff you can't talk about, and I commend you for protecting your life like that, because some of us lunatics who were never, haven't been threatened in that way. And I can't imagine how fucking scary that must be. I mean,
it gets scary, but
I think
after about the 100th one, you just get used to it, I guess.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely fucking insane. So do you think that this administration I don't think that anybody in office is actually in control of this type of stuff. I don't know that any one president can say to the military industrial complex to stop spraying the skies, to stop harming people without consent. I mean, imagine if there were a vote on it. This is what this does. This is why we're doing this. These are the health effects. Just like they're doing right now with the drugs, the drug commercials, where they're listing the amount of side effects. I mean, it might be the funniest thing ever now. When you hear the side effect, it is absolute madness that anybody would put any of that shit in their bodies at this point. I wonder how many people would actually.
The commercials are like stated in the micro machine voice. They have to list all the side effects like so fast.
Dell was saying that they just started doing that. That's not true. I feel like they've been doing it for the last year, no? Or two. All the side effects.
Specifically, you mean on TV or?
Yeah. On television.
I've always
mind-blowing.
noticed it happening because I'm pretty sure it's a requirement.
Oh, see, I thought that it was a Kennedy thing. That's what I thought they'd been doing it too. But according to these guys on the panel at that Inconvenient Study film, it was something new that Kennedy put in place for, that was one of the stipulations. Fine, you want to poison the fucking world, you got to tell them how it's going to kill them. And then the risk is theirs, which is insane that so many people would walk down that road. I'd rather those drugs not be available to people, but everybody can do what they want to do. I mean, that's a way to manage the population, I guess, without directly killing them.
Right.
um,
Yeah.
but
That's a whole nother rabbit hole. Exactly. And people just blindly comply because they don't want to go against the fray. And it's not about, I always say, like, to disobey something because you're educated on something is not bad. And we always tell people to question things in life, to make sure that you've done your research. Everyone always says that. Did you do your research? And then you do, and then everything you've done is bastardized. And I think that right now in the age of especially like AI and social media, I know about you, but I don't use Google ever. I use an AI as a search engine. And this younger crowd, so I do think there'll be a shift with it though, because I think a lot of the things that we're complaining about, maybe it'll be a while, but I don't think it's going to get worse. I think it's just going to be a bigger battle between the shadow government, which is very real, and the people that are in power. We really need term limits so we can get some younger people in. Yeah, but I do think, though, honestly, because this is Trump's last term, and I can see him, although he shouldn't wait on it, I can see like his last year in this term is maybe when he'll put the hammer down on some of the things that people have been wanting him to do and do it after the midterms, even though I think that's screwed up. I guess I can understand the method behind the madness.
yeah, I'm a little worried about the next year, a little bit, just vibes wise. Things seem
I
to
am,
be
but other
evening out.
issues.
But I do think that with this thing, with the climate, and at first I was like, I'm not gonna fucking waste my time with this because what the fuck nothing can be done here. And then like I said, I saw the film and I was like, oh, controlled opposition, of course. Look at this shit. And then I watched it and I was like, wait a second. This is genuine. This is real. I mean, I fell so in love with, was it Francis Mengels? Was that his
Yeah.
name? The USDA biologist, maybe USDA something. And he had so many credentials. And he, at the end of the film, I mean, I was in tears at the end of the film. And I didn't expect to be moved that way, but I was. And I care so much about, I just really fucking care about you, me, anybody I meet. Like the second I meet someone, I'm like, I love you. I love you. I want to make sure that you're great. Are you great right now? Like, what can I fucking do? And then I'm outside and this shit is, whenever I see it, it's not even so much that I am like, I'm being poisoned, we're all being killed. It's what it represents when I see it in the sky. It's on like a spiritual fucking thing. And it is so hard to just make my peace with something. I mean, the vaccines happened and then a lot of people got ill and a lot of people might continue to, and we don't know all of that stuff. It's a little more invisible, but it's like, this is in your face every single day. And some days you have a day where the sky is clear and you don't have to think about it. And then other days it's absolutely just, I feel like Ray Liotta in Goodfellas when it happens, where he's like looking up like this and he's like, and I'm just fucking with my phone and I'm filming everything and I'm like, I gotta fucking do something about this. And I'm like, what am I gonna fucking do? Like, what can I do? I mean, I even painted my body I got naked and painted my body that said stop geoengineering because I was like, the last time I did something like that, I was all in the fucking news and that's how I ended up being out of the closet about all of this political stuff, was because because I was in my underwear. I was like, well, if they care about that, and that's the only way to get motherfuckers to pay attention, I'll do it again. This time I took off all my clothes and did it. And literally it was like nothing. And I was surprised because normally that would be, in my world, that would be a big fucking thing. And they were like, yeah, we're not touching geoengineering. So forget it, unless it's controlled opposition. You know what I mean? Unless we're going to write an article about it where we're going to normalize it. So it's pretty astounding. And I did it as an experiment to see if anybody would give a fuck. And no, they don't. So I was like, okay, well, I can do one episode on it, or I can do fucking 30 episodes on it. And I'll just never stop fucking talking about it until somebody, does something. But I think I just really want the naysayers, the average person, the woman next door who's like, but they're doing it to help us. They're doing it to fix the ozone layer. They're doing it for this or that. Like, what? That's going to be the way they combat it. They're going to convince us that we need it the way we needed the vaccine. And how we're going to debate that is what I just keep asking anyone. And how do we, then they're going to say to you, well, then what are the other solutions? Do we stop having gas cars? Do we stop having plastic bottles? Like, they're going to push all of that shit on us. So they're going to find every single way to make us lose that fight. So I'm just still trying to find the answers to how to fight it properly, aside from just giving them hardcore evidence, which you guys all do. Does that make sense?
And that's another thing. Yeah. And in the states that it's being banned, like, they have so much evidence. But here's the thing I tell people, even if you think it's not happening, when you realize that they're using nanoparticulate metals that all have huge impacts for human and environmental impacts, it affects your respiratory system, your central nervous system, and it poisons you in a way that it's called bioavailability, meaning because it increases oxidative stress, you're more likely to be poisoned by it, so to speak. Like, your exposure is heightened. So when people understand, like, you shouldn't be breathing in these heavy metals, even if it's not happening, wouldn't you want to stop it from happening? And I think that's how a lot of states are banning it, is getting other people to sign up on it. Like, their colleagues on, their state houses, even if they don't think it's real, they're like, well, doing this bill will stop it if anyone attempts to make it real, because they're talking about doing it in the future. There's so many angles to fight this.
Right?
I think 32.
How many states? 32.
Yeah, I think 32.
I wish everybody could be like the Surgeon General in Florida.
Oh, I love him.
He's so great. I love him too. But I guess, so when they get it banned in the States, which is at a very low, how many thousand feet? I mean, once it becomes federal airspace, so does that mean
sure
that they
on the height, but yeah,
but that's
the thing is
the way it goes, right? But can they cloud seed at that one? If it got banned, would they have to stop cloud seeding because that's a much lower airspace, and they just can't do the actual injections?
I think the current federal bill is literally all of it. It's not allowed because I think
is there?
There's not, but that's what Marjorie Taylor Greene's trying to do. But at the states, they're including all geoengineering programs. But I don't know if you ever saw this. I think it was on X. You had shared a Tim Pool podcast where they had, I think one of your friends was on it, Shane. And there's this guy that they keep interviewing all these people. And I cannot stand that people give this man a seat. His name is Augustus Dorico. Oh,
Dorco. I liked the Tim Pool called him Dorco. I was like, was that on purpose?
Well, this kid, first of all,
he's a baby.
I know I joke around. I know I'm not a very serious person, but I am educated. I am an exposure scientist. My background is in occupational environmental toxicology. I've been doing this for 23 years, okay? So I know science. And he was on X trying to tell me that silver iodide, because he always says, no, I cloud seed, it's different. I'm like, that's still bad. And he said, well, cloud seeding, the exposure to silver iodide is the same thing as being exposed to a baby aspirin. And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? And it's not to get too technical, but he was comparing it in the way of like, it's called a LD50, or like the half-life of something and how it breaks down in the body. And I'm like, if you take a baby aspirin, you know how much you're taking. You don't get to determine in this huge ass airspace how much is dissipating and coming in through your home HVAC system, which is going to bypass right to your home filter because it's nanoparticulate. What do you like? The fact that he's a mouthpiece for Rainmaker, he's somebody's puppet. But anyway, he wanted to publicly debate me. And I was just like, dude, we are here. Like, and I don't mean to be condescending, but my knowledge is here and yours is here. I can't debate. Like, I'm not going to get into a political debate with a fourth grader. And I'm not going to get into it with you. But people keep bringing him on their shows. And I'm like, but I have to say, I've declined a lot of shows. It's not like a jealousy thing. I'm very selective on who I will talk to about this.
Well, thank you for talking to me. Thank
well,
you.
I met you in person.
Thank you. We don't even have a show yet, but we will.
But
it's happening.
My point is, this guy, there's no way he was just like, oh, I'm going to start cloud seeding. He is because he looks like hip with his mullet. It's almost, it's disrespectful. We're being gaslit that this guy is supposedly going to save droughts. And it's like, I can't directly say that Hurricane Helene was a result of cloud seeding, but when you hijack a weather system from one area and, like I said, displace rain meant for another, like, causation should be investigated. You should not be messing with the weather whatsoever. It's like, I need people to stop stealing water from our Great Lakes up here.
I mean, that kid, when I saw him, I posted it because of Shane. I love Shane. Shane Cashman is great. And he's kind of the temperamental one there. Tim Pool doesn't like me, so it wasn't even about that. He had nothing but atrocities to say about me on social media at one time. And if anything to us, it was humorous. But so forget about that guy too, even though I still think that what he's been doing for years is good and noble. I'll never take that away. But that Dorico guy, he's a child. I mean, it is embarrassing. It's a fucking joke. And I feel like we're in the midst of being laughed at nonstop with things like this. I guess I wouldn't even give him a fucking platform. But if he is going to be the face of this movement and they put it in this cute little package for people to swallow, well, then you better fucking debate him right here, right now, with me as the moderator.
Well, and the thing is, I'm hesitant to always talk about this, not because I'm afraid, but I've been talking about it for 16 years, okay? It's like I do other things, but now that it's being talked about, I don't mind doing interviews on it again and again, selective. But you can tell with this kid, he's very hungry for his 15 minutes, and I am not the type of, like, listen, I'm like, look at my social media, it has no rhyme or rhythm. I have a large following, I don't care, I don't make money off it, I don't care. But the thing is, people will say you're in this for fame or grifting. And I'm like, dude, no, I'm not. I'll do a live with no bra and no makeup on. Yeah.
Holy
and I'm like,
who would ever fucking say that about you?
I'll go on live on my Facebook or my TikTok and I will literally look like ass because I don't care. I'm doing it to educate people. I'm not doing it for like thumbs up, subscribe, and he's just that kid. But not only that, like,
you're the real deal. I mean, you came out of it. You were fucking catapulted. I mean, you were in whether you believe it or not, in the right place at the right time or the wrong place at the right time or all of those things. I mean, you were meant to tell this fucking story among others. I mean, everything you're talking about, I guess, had to do with biology and the way we are made. And I mean, if you were protesting against the vaccines and all of that stuff, it's all the same shit in there that they're pounding into our systems. That kid is, if he becomes the face of this and not like even, Bill Gates's guy, this David Keith, what's his name?
Oh yeah, David Keith.
Yeah. So then we have, people like this, but strategic and smart. And the minute I saw that kid, I thought, oh, wow. So this is a new play, but I wonder if it is that he's just the spoiled kid of a older man who owns this company, or if he is being strategically placed to speak to the youth of America who's about to start questioning things, because he's cute. And it didn't feel like a contentious exchange between them, even though Shane knows his shit when it comes to that. I don't know where Tim Pool stands with a lot of that stuff, but I do know where Shane stands with it. And I thought that was super interesting because, you want to be able to not hate people, but what are his intentions, that boy's intentions? And does he really understand the implications of what
He doesn't.
they're doing?
You can tell that
or
he's
he
someone's
does,
puppet. He's
but
somebody's
just
puppet.
being a puppet, allowing yourself to be hired to pull strings like that and to charm people into believing that there's some kind of fucking, that it's okay, is absolutely insane. But back to what you were saying about Helene and moving storms around and all that, and then going back to HARP, because I got to ask everybody when I talk to them, just so in case anybody that any of my people that are just watching me because they love The Sopranos, which I'm hoping those are the only people that are going to watch, because we don't need more of us watching. We have enough of us watching other things. Chamber. Yeah, exactly. So hopefully it's just those guys. And so when, we have now Lahaina, we have the Canada fires. I can say for myself that with the Canada fires, I was in New York and I had never experienced anything like that. I lived downtown at 9/11, and this was nothing like that. This was bright orange, yellow, mustard yellow smoke down to the ground. I didn't have masks or anything. I didn't even know what would mitigate that to walk around. So me and my kids were walking around in that when we were in New York. We had to get from place to place. That was not normal. That was not a forest fire. I don't care what anybody says. I'm sure it was, it became a forest fire. I also know that a lot of those fires were ignited all at the same time on the radars. At least that's what a lot of people were saying. But, Lahaina, there were so many strange findings with that one, like, even things as conspiratorial minded people would say that nothing blue burned, or even, okay, nothing blue burned. That's crazy. But how do you explain perfectly cut lines through buildings that were on fire, but only like a strategic straight line was cut through a building? That's not fire. That's, we know there are directed energy weapons. We know that the government has them, that the military, we know that they were, I think there was one that they were showing off in Israel a while back. I can't remember. But so we know these exist. So back to HARP and how they use the NextRad towers and all of that stuff to move storms around. Are they moving old weather patterns that are not old weather patterns that are originating someplace and moving them around with the particulate in the sky when they spray it? I know when the Palisades fire started here, a week before, I looked at my boyfriend and I go, yo, I can't believe how we're being attacked right now. I have never seen this many chemtrails in my life. And I know we shouldn't say chemtrails. Everyone says don't say chemtrails. Oh, some people say chemtrails because they are chemicals. That's what Kaufman said today. But I couldn't believe how much they were spraying. I was like, they're drying everything the fuck out. And then 3 days later, we're about to have the biggest windstorm of all time. And I said to my boyfriend, Robbie, I go, dude, I think this is going to be a different one. I think it's going to be a little different. Nah, it's fine. This is always the same. The Santa Anas, we're fine. We evacuated twice. And then we watched the Palisades burn from our window. So, I think they got their shit together in terms of not letting it look like it was one of those kinds of fires, but none of it made sense, though. I'm sorry. You're on the water. Like, it's just, the whole thing just didn't quite make sense. So anyway, back to all of the HARP and the NextRad. What is it? What's going on? What do you think's going on? What's your opinion?
So I do know about HAARP, but it's not my area of expertise. But my understanding is that the antennas that are used in HAARP can magnetize the nanoparticulate metals. That's what some people claim, and honestly, there's been evidence to it. But ironically, what I know most about HAARP is maybe 2 years after I blew the whistle, a woman reached out to me and was telling me to be careful because she actually was one of the people that designed like the technology, like as far as the programming to it, like the computer tech program to it. But she was sold that it was meant for a different reason, and she was against it. And it kind of reminds me of Robert Malone and the whole mRNA issue, but she completely was harassed and just told me some really insane stories. And I believe her because she sent me things and we had some video chats. And I think a lot of times they get people on board to build things or utilize things, and it's sold to them as a different idea. But if you think about it, HAARP is huge. So if it's just a normal thing, why is it not like a regular news story? You know what I'm saying? Like nobody really talks about it. The average American that's not following what we are, they have no idea what HAARP is, or like can't visualize what it looks like.
What does it stand for? I forget.
It's like, I forget too, like
I always forget. Aurorial
something research. I forget. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's HAARP. But to go back to what you said about the Canadian.
Look it up.
Yeah. Literally.
Oh, the Canadian thing. The hum?
Yeah, I was calling out the media so heavily because it's been going on like multiple summers. But this past summer, because I border Canada also here in Michigan, and it was so bad. And
you heard it?
No, I saw it. Sorry, like the smoke, like it affected us big time here in Michigan.
Oh, the fires. I thought you were talking about the humming thing. The thing that Joe Rogan was talking about on the show that you were on.
But with the wildfires, the same media and same health agencies that were telling you to wear a mask for COVID flat out told you a mask isn't going to help you for a wildfire. And I was like,
I wanted a fucking mask so bad.
But it won't. But my whole argument during COVID is the micron size of COVID is way smaller than particulates. PM 2.5 is what it's called in wildfire. And you can't wear a mask for a wildfire. And people were arguing with me. Yet basically what I'm saying is the government admitted that masks won't work for any aerosolized virus. And I'm like, well, no shit, Sherlock. That's what I've been telling you. But the worst part of it was the hazards were not being conveyed. Because I was explaining to people about something called synergistic toxicity, which is when you have multiple things of different hazards, or it's one hazard like a fire with different things in it that all attack the same organ systems, okay? And when it comes to wildfires, I also have questions with how they started, because we do know about laser technologies. But when you are burning, it's not just trees. You are going through industrial buildings that have different like paints and paint stripper and fuels. It's all burning. And you know what it creates? It creates phosgene. It creates dioxins. It creates basically wartime chemicals and highly carcinogenic material, dioxins, into the atmosphere and then into your breathing zone. And I was telling people how to filter in their homes and create home filters, and the government just can't stay out of my profession.
Tell me what filters you like.
So basically MERV 14. So MERV 14 are.
Oh no.
Yeah.
MERV?
Write it down.
Like
you can
like
literally
Merv
get it
Griffin?
at any hardware store. Yeah. MERV 14. Most people know about HEPA. And then above that is MERV 13. MERV 14 is the best. And you want to, of course, put those in your home HVAC system, put your filter in. But it's better to have multiple box or stand fans and put the extra filters in your most common spaces, because you're going to turn off your HVAC system and just have it internally circulate, meaning it's not going to draw air from the outside in. And then as it's circulating, because you have your HVAC now on circulate, when it's pulled through that filter, It's being like if there's a box fan here and I have the filter behind it, it's giving me clean air and it's capturing it. And that's a form of sheltering in place. But for people who had it really bad with the wildfire smoke, and they're people with COPD or asthma, those are the people that should have been given the proper guidance, and no health department was telling them. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, because this is what I've been training for 23 years. 12 of it was for the government. You know this data. Why are you not telling people? And it's because they don't want to scare people. But then when you don't need to be scared, like COVID, with an infection fatality rate that was negligible. Okay, I'm not saying people to die, but it was negligible. It's the same thing. You get what I'm saying? They overhyped something that shouldn't have been overhyped. But then when something needs to be overhyped, they're like, no, it's fine. Nothing to see here.
Yeah. They're like, choke on it. Unbelievable.
This is why
I mean, I tell everybody to get Wait, what did you say?
I said, this is why I drink.
I mean, we had some drinks at the event. That was, I mean, that was a moment in time, that event. That was a very special event. Was Rescue the Revolution? No, the Republic.
The Republic.
Rescue the Revolution. Oh my God.
Well, I have an actual revolution tattoo on my arm, so.
Oh shit! Oh man, I wish you weren't blurry.
You probably can't see it. I'll send you a picture.
Okay.
I know the internet's working against us today.
I got one up here that says Ultrafree 2034, because that's when I think we're going to see some peace again. It's at a long time from now.
Well, I feel like you and I could have a cocktail in our PJs and talk about way more things that probably couldn't, some of the viewers couldn't handle, but I feel like we've got some commonality on some other things. So, yeah.
I think that people need to start handling it all.
Well, if you've looked at any of my content, I really don't give a shit. So I've been screaming from the rooftops. Anything I have proof for being corrupt or infiltrating our government or hijacking the way that we're supposed to run our country. It's very
Is that what they've said about you?
Oh, I mean, at this point, I'm homophobic, transphobic, racist, anti-Semitic, white Christian nationalist. So, you know. Whatever.
That's my title, white Christian nationalist. That's me.
The only thing I haven't been called is misogynistic, so.
I think I got that too. I got that one too, because I'm me and my big dick energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, thank you for doing this with me. I know you don't do it with everybody, and this sounds very peculiar.
I know. I'm like, that's what she said.
God. I am also not a very serious person, but some of this stuff, man, I just
you have
feel
to
there are
inject
certain
it with
topics.
Sarcasm and humor, or it's going to ruin your mental health, to be honest.
Yes.
You have to,
and I feel
it is very serious.
Very serious. And I want people to wake up, and I want us to stand together against all the fucking corruption that's out there in a way that's not even toxic. Like, it just needs to be that we all know, and that we all maybe might just say no, and that we stand together and stop fighting each other. And I think that is the solution for all of this stuff. I don't think that, I want people to wake up to this thing, because the climate, and it's not the climate, but it's the earth. I love trees. I love animals. I love people. I love watching people love each other and take care of each other, take care of animals, trees, all of it, and knowing how trees communicate with each other. And just, I'm like having a real Lion King moment over here, just the circle of life. Oh my God. So I just feel like there's so much hope in humanity, as long as people are just not, I don't ever want to come across as self-righteous when I talk about any of this stuff, or not even righteous, just like a nudge to anybody who's willing to, like, we're women. We are in tune with this earth, and we know what she is, kind of, and just the whole, everything is, everything's duality. I really do believe that. And I think that all the negative stuff that's happening, shines an incredible amount of light on a lot of the beauty, and vice versa. Like, I think that we need the two things, but it'd be really great if we could at least make sure that we still have an earth to walk on while we're still arguing about everything before they completely destroy it with all of that with all that spray, the sky spray.
Yeah, and it's been going on for a long time too. And we've had the increase in like neurodegenerative issues in like Alzheimer's and
Yeah,
you
my
know,
mom died
and
of
that's what's
dementia,
hard.
so
That's what's hard. I have people that actually get mad at me because I don't talk about this enough, and I'm like, where have you been? But it's because I have my hands in so many things, from drinking water. It's like so many different things. And the point is that we're being attacked at
it
so many
affects
different
everything.
ways. Yeah, and you have to kind of pick your battle. And I fought this for many years, and now I've kind of like passed on the baton because there's people that are doing way more about it. I don't know if you've interviewed Justin yet, but Justin, I've known for years. He's the one on the ground helping get these laws passed. I'm giving remotely data to like state senators and things like that. But I don't know. It's a collective effort, and it's not. I think a misconception when we talk about these things is people think we're negative. I don't think
Yeah.
calling out nefarious things is a negative. We're trying to actually make things better and healthier. And there are a couple other like public media figures that talk about this quite a bit on their shows, and I'm glad. I know like Roseanne's one of them that's talked about it for a long time. Like I said,
Oh,
Joe
yeah.
Rogan's best friend Eddie Bravo's talked about this for years. I wish Joe would bring it up again. I wish Joe would have Dane on because Dane is just such a wealth of knowledge.
He's, it's a lot of, it's intense. It was intense he was my first interview for all of this. So,
Well,
and I
he's
think
serious, but he's a sweetheart. Yeah, he is.
yes. Oh, I can tell. And he just he loves this planet,
Yeah.
and it breaks my heart to hear him talk about it. And yes, he should be on Rogan or on Sean Ryan or both, because I think there needs to be, but he told me a lot of people have been approaching him, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if a lot of them come to fruition because I think people are afraid of this topic still, which is insane because all the evidence is there now to support it. It's not even just a conversation anymore. It's a reality. So it's just a matter of what the big dogs are going to do to normalize it so that we can't have the conversation the way it's meant to be.
Well, I will tell you, I'm guessing, I think it's actually the speech when I met you, you said you had just seen, you showed me on your phone. When I was in Geneva, I was in a red blazer, and it's a 4.5 minute little clip. Someone recognized me on the street from like, I don't even know what country they were from, but that clip went so viral. I mean, at this point, it has like 40 million views.
Yes.
And it's 4.5 minutes.
I remember.
From that video, I've been doing media interviews on multiple things for a long time. But on this specific issue, I want to say I had over 300 emails, DMs asking me to come do podcasts. And I'm not the type of person that's like, well, what's your audience? That's not who I am. Mine is it a new group I'm talking to? But I only have so much bandwidth. But to know that there's that many people that want to get the message out gives me hope. And they're
That's
less afraid to
awesome.
talk about it. But I'm like, ask so-and-so. I'm like, I have to have a good mental health balance between my activism and all the regular life shit, being a mom and a wife and being a consultant. It's a lot, but I do appreciate people like you that are not afraid. I'm sure you've been drugged through the mud. I always say, you've made it when you have a hit piece. So
yeah.
This is a different part of your life. And I have respect for that because, it could hinder you from future work. And it just tells me where your priorities lie. And you're like, love me or leave me. That's the vibe that I get from you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's okay. It is about love. I think everything has to be about love. I know that sounds so like, but it's true, man. Like everything else to me is an illusion. I don't, if we're not doing things because we love each other and love the planet and love our existence. And I mean, sometimes being alive is not that easy, but I mean, I love it. I love the ups and the downs and all of it. And I've been through hell and back, and I would do it all over again, and having kids,
Yeah.
that's what we
I
do
feel
it
like that's
for.
what drives me. Yep, that's what drives me. I want my kids
Yeah.
to have a healthier future, but also I want to arm my kids to be able to. I want them to have their own views, and they better be able to speak to them. I don't want them to just have my views, but I do not want them to fall to the propaganda. Like, you have to see beyond the wall.
Yeah.
I just
The
want to
doctor
arm
and I
them.
were just talking about that. Well, the social media thing, I think what's happening too is like kids are political now. My 14-year-old,
Yep.
like who, and when I was 14, I cared about like lip gloss and eyeshadow. I mean, but at the same time, I cared about spirituality in a weird way. So I was like really into Joseph Campbell and my lip gloss. But they're being so they're being molded. They're being totally indoctrinated right now, even though they're learning more than we would have known about our political scene in the world at 14. They're being taught to hate each other. And it's fucking astounding to watch. And I'm continuously having to kind of mitigate what's coming in, even though we agree with even half the messages that are coming in, not the hateful ones, but certain things about history that were not what we thought they were. I mean, I can't believe that I'm relearning our entire
Yeah.
history right now. And I'm afraid that's all going to go away. So I keep saying to people, and my advice is just order a fucking shitload of books and put them away, because I have a feeling that the phone is going to be like the next version of the book burnings. We're not going to be able to find information as much as we are right now. We thought
Well,
we were censored.
I'd love to pick your brain sometime offline, because I've been going down the same thing. I question who wrote the books.
Yeah, everything. I
It's
think
like
it's
we
important
only
to.
know everyone's mad at all these colleges, and I'm like, who wrote the books? How did we create this like insane woke system and all these different things? And I keep saying I have questions. I have many questions. And
Yeah, me too. And I feel like the more I learn, the less I fucking know. As cliche as that sounds, I cannot believe how my mind changes every day. I will never have one opinion that is the opinion of my personality. It will continue to change. I feel like most of us need to just give up any idea of what we believe in and just continue to evolve, because that's what we're here for. It's insane. Like I actually cannot believe how accelerated it feels right now, because I'm worried about what's going to happen next with all of the new agencies that have been put in place to sort of take over the way we're governed with the biometrics and all of that stuff. I think we're about to see a huge shift, and
maybe we'll
it's
start
everything
wearing
we were.
masks for a good reason.
Well, I mean, whatever scared me in the mandates, it's that. We're here now. This was the thing. This was the culmination of the vaccine mandate. It was a barcode. And I was like, I cannot have this barcode dictate where I go, what my bank account is. And I mean, that was part of all the mandate stuff too. When I don't know if you were at some of those, I went in the audience and hid and covered myself and wore a mask so that nobody would recognize me, because I just wanted to be with everybody when the mandates rallies were happening. There was one here in California. Literally barely anyone showed up. It was so wild to see that no one gave a shit. And there was the truckers convoys, and their bank accounts were being stopped and stuff. And I was like, this is it. This is the thing. This is the thing. This is the only thing. Everything relates to this and goes back to that fucking barcode. My kids were using barcodes to get into their public school. I couldn't believe that my son was coming home with a bloody mask every day, because they would PCR him to death, and then it'd be all in the mask from him sweating and yelling all day. And the mask was like, I mean, it was, what a time. What a time. And now this is it. We're back. They're just not using the vaccine right now to get us there. They have other ways. And they're going to, I think a lot of this immigration shit was put in place just to be able to say, well, this is what we need to do now because this is the only way it's going to save us. There's a lot of Trojan horses in there. And anyway, but I do feel hopeful. And I think that a lot of it is going to have to be, without sounding like a real whack job, I think it's going to be spiritual.
I agree.
And it's not a particular religion. It's just getting back in touch with who we are, remembering who we are.
It's just remembering old school good versus evil. And it's just having your own individual faith and just trying to recognize negative or dark spiritual agendas. And like I said, everyone battles it their own way, but I've just lived by the way of don't bitch about something unless you have a solution. And if your solution is bringing awareness to the issue to get people talking, then I think that's amazing. If some people go and protest their local government, everyone just do your part, but do it in a way that each person, like I said, you've got to make sure that it becomes static, so much static, and then you just kind of feel defeated. I always say we live in the Truman Show. And you have to find a healthy balance. You really do. It took me a long time to learn that. And then the government shit the bed again and things were going fine. And then COVID hit and I thought, oh God, I'm coming out of retirement and now I'm going to have to fight the mandates. And
yeah,
the sad thing is I'm with you. I don't feel like, oh, we're coming off COVID. There's more freedom-minded people in office than there was. I still feel like something's hanging in the wind. And I don't like it. No pun intended. I just feel like something really bad's going to happen. And I don't mean that to be negative. It's just the energy that I feel.
No, me too.
But I don't think it's going to be dividing. I think it's going to be uniting because so many people are going to know it's either a false flag or recognizing our individualized. I always say we outnumber the sociopaths when it comes down to it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not too many of them. There's maybe 300 of them or 1,000. And here we are, the whole fucking world. If we could all just hold hands across the whole planet right now, that would make a huge change, I think, and just keep our minds focused on positivity and remembering that we're all just energy and frequency while they have all their little HARP machines and NexRad machines trying to manipulate everything on the planet. We can do the same thing just with our own love and light. I believe that. I know that sounds absolutely crazy. You all can make fun of me. I don't care. But I believe it because I see the difference between, even just raising your kids and they come home and they've just dealt with a bunch of toxic kids. And then, the minute they see their dog and they put their arms around their dog and the whole mood just changes. Why is that? That's full energy and frequency. And I really believe in that. And I also believe that they're using it to fuck with us, to control us. And that has a lot to do with all the geoengineering stuff, which we barely got into that part. But I am going to let you go now because I've kept you too long and you do enough of these damn interviews all the time. So I really thank you for coming to hang out.
I know that you're having lots of conversations. Okay. I know you're having lots of conversations. So I always told, I'll just tell you this before we close this out. When this film is being made, I don't know if you've learned this in a different interview, but I said no. And I said no originally because I got tired. I literally exposed this originally in 2010. Okay. That was a long time ago. And I felt like I was typecasted in this chemtrail world and I do so much more. And I'm tired, and it honestly, it's actually very traumatizing. That period was very traumatizing to me, but I have taken this opportunity of seeing states banning it, documentaries being made about it. There's still potentially one still being made, another one, but this is kind of my farewell tour. You know what I mean? I'm passing the baton. I'm just a small piece of the puzzle. And actually, Dane Wigington came before me, and he's who I was trying to debunk. So
Oh,
look at that
really?
full circle.
Oh,
And
amazing.
so, but I appreciate that you taking on this fight and talking about it. And I hope that the rest of your whole new podcast goes smooth.
Yeah,
but
we'll see.
don't beat yourself up, because people love the best interviews where it just seems like you're talking to each other in person. I know you'll have guests in studio, but at the end of the day, it's just being real. Just real conversations are the ones that people relate to.
Yeah, we need more of that these days. People want information too,
Everything's so
though.
fake.
But yes, being real. I know. I don't know who's real anymore, but at least everybody knows that I was broke and this isn't about money anymore. And, a lot of people are compromised, and you'll never question if I was compromised unless, somebody comes and puts a gun to the back of my head and starts blackmailing me and telling me that they're going to do all kinds of fucking insane shit to me. But, just don't mess with my kids and I'll keep being a fucking loudmouth. So I'm here I know I'm late, and I know that you are at the end of this, and I told you earlier, to me, you're a hero. You've been doing this forever. I've been watching it forever, but I was definitely caught up in my own world until it fucking hit me with the mandates. And then once that hit me, that was it. And I never intended on speaking out ever. For me, I've been a very private, quiet actor, never in the press for anything. But I got thrown out to it. It wasn't by choice. I really got thrown to the fucking wolves because of choices I made. And I was like, well, fuck it. I'm here now. And then literally felt like a different energy took over my body and started speaking in my place, because it was not like me to do anything like this. I couldn't stand watching actors as activists and musicians. I was like, can you just do the art, please, and just shut the fuck up? But whatever. I'm here now. It's Ultrafree's our brand, and I hope you go and use your code and get some shirts, please, for you and your family. But that's what we're doing. We're just adding the podcast to the brand. It was originally supposed to be a podcast, and then it became a brand to get Kennedy. We just wanted to promote Kennedy, and now we have this t-shirt brand, and we're like, well, what the fuck do we do with it? All right, I'll do the podcast, but I'm only talking about weather modification. I'm not only talking about it, but I will be talking about it a lot. So I'll take over for you a little bit, and I'll always try to bring you back in here just to solidify the fact that I semi know what I'm talking about. But yes, you and I should definitely go get drunk together. Just kidding. Just for I can't even drink anymore at this age. Jesus Christ, can you drink?
I swear. I can't like I used to. I tell you, it was like
I can have one drink,
and
now.
It was like it's not the same.
Oh, you're a baby.
I can't hang. Yeah, I'm 43.
Oh, you're 10 years younger than me. I'm fucking.
But I have a 21-year-old. And I'm in menopause, so it's all downhill from here.
Wow. I wish I had a 21-year-old. All those missed opportunities that I've had in the past, being a wild teenager. But I'm 53. I'll be 54. And wait till you hit my age. Holy shit, one drink will kill you. You have to stick to 1942. Tequila, 1942. It's the only one that won't give you a hangover.
I love tequila. Tequila with tahini is my favorite.
Oh, I love that too. Well, now I'm hungry. Now I want to eat tahini with something. All right, lady, go have your afternoon. Take care. Thank you so much. But I'll be bothering you and haunting you and being your new friend. I'm your new friend now. I want to be friends with you. We're friends. I'm going to annoy you. I'm just trying to make friends. Actually, the whole podcast is just so that I'll make friends, because no one wants to be my friend anymore after all of the things I've said. So now I'm just trying to make friends that agree with the things that I've said.
There you go.
I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm kidding. I'm just trying to bring more people into the mix.